Gary, how many Monday mornings have you come into training after a 7-1?
Not too many. I don't think many managers would have done, but it leaves you with a nice weekend. That's for sure. You read all the papers, you go out and buy them all, and if you've lost by any amount, 1-0, 7-1, you don't look at anything or buy anything. But and it's nice to get the lads in yesterday and today to talk to them about why they won 7-1 and how our tactics worked, our philosophy. They'll start seeing it. When you get a game like that, the boys start seeing exactly what you're trying to put across to them, and once they start seeing it, hopefully then you can keep going and move on. You're going to beat everyone 7-1 every week, but at the same time, the boys did put in a performance that demoralised the opposition.
You can have 3 or 4 of those in a season. Perhaps the important thing is, though, to get the narrow wins that accumulate the points.
Yeah, you're right, but we've done that, haven't we? We're 1 point away from Forest Green, and only 2 or 3 weeks away was 9 points away from them. So, and there are teams that are on a little bit of a downer. I don't think Forest Green have won for a little while. Wrexham haven't won in a couple. These are teams that are going to be competition to you, and we seem to be able to bounce back pretty quickly from a defeat. And against the teams that are pretty much at the top, we've done all right against. We've just had a couple of blips by the odd goal against Altrincham and Macclesfield, who are both in the lower ends of the table. So that's something we have to look at. But no, we've come in very, very bright, very positive, and we look forward to Tuesday's game.
And the season's already nearly a third over. Was Saturday to some degree about the fact that you've got quite a small group, really, and there has been a consistency of selection?
Yeah, there has been a consistency, and that's been important. And you touch wood, because when you've got a small group, you hope that certainly none of your key players get injured. We've had Harry Pearl suspended for a game. We've had George McClellan suspended for the 3 games for his sending off. So, but we haven't had that major injury that's put somebody out for any length of time. So, Downsy had a slight problem, and he was 60-40 whether he could play or not. But he wasn't really. He was always 90-10 because he was going to play whatever happened. And as it turned out, the physio got him sorted out nice and quickly. And with Downsy's mentality, he played and was one of our top players.
So, touch wood, clean bill of health for Tuesday?
Yeah, we've definitely got a clean bill of health for Tuesday, and we've got the 3 boys come off the bench. I always use my bench if I can, and they all played a part and made a difference. So I've got 14, still 15 with Rowe who didn't come on, 15 to choose from as a selection headache, because at the moment they're all desperate to play.
Really a headache after a 7-1? I mean, can you change it after that?
Well, listen, you always tell the players it's a headache to make them feel that you're thinking about them. But I have changed it after a win. Sometimes you do, because when you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, and there's not a lot between the whole squad, then yeah, you can change it. And I'm certainly not going to put my team out there just yet anyway. So no, there's still a couple that have got a bit of a chance.
So Tranmere to Halifax, that was a midweek without a game. You now go into a sequence of 5 games in 15 days, of which that was the first one. You couldn't have started a run like that, a busy run with Gateshead away, Bromley away in there, with a better result than that.
No, it was a fine time, a good time to get a good result against the team, with all due respect, that everyone was expecting you to get a result against, and that's where that sort of pressure comes, and the boys have come through that pressure. Every manager says you take each game as it comes, and really that's what you have to do. And I've looked at the fixtures, and I've looked to see whether our squad will cope with that amount of games in a short space of time. But then you've got, I think, November and December, where there's only 4 league games, but you then get into the FA Cups and you start getting into the FA trophies, and we're going to be one of the favourites for the FA trophy, so people will expect us to stay in that. and the board have demanded that we get a big game in the FA Cup. So I don't think they mind, and they probably even want to run in the Gloucester Cup. I don't know, but anyway, every game we go into, we've got to try and win anyway.
So you say you've looked at the squad and will it cope? Does that mean you might be asking for an extra resource or two?
Well, you never get a better opportunity than after a 7-1 win. So I've certainly set a bit of time aside to have a chat with the board and let them know what I think we might need and whether we can bring it in. And if they say no, then there'll be no bad adverse publicity. I won't be spitting my dummy out. And if they say yes, then great. It's because we've got the budget to do it. I think with everything, the board have to, they're obviously very pleased with the results, but they've always got to look at the attendance at games, and you can't keep bringing players in if your attendance isn't really going up. And you're hoping that at some point we'll be able to, drag another 500 people off the streets, and then we could get ourselves a real strong squad from now till the end of the season. Now, how we get them 500 people in, I don't know. We're second in the league. We've only lost one at home. We're scoring goals. We're one of the top goal scorers. We're one of the teams that have let in the least. So it's not as though we've not done our part. Whenever I talk about people that are not supporting us, you have to talk about the people that are. And we've had good support from our 2, whatever it is, probably 1,700 or so home fans, and certainly fans that go away. And they've done us proud and done us credit. So, if they can handcuff themselves to somebody else and drag them to the next few games, then I might be able to bring in reinforcements.
I know you highlighted Halifax's potential defensive weaknesses before the weekend, which has proved to be right. What about Braintree's defence? Because they've had a very strong start, particularly away. There's
no defensive weaknesses in them, certainly not away from home. And they've got a super away record. And they're strong. They're a good team. They're on the back of coming up. They're confident. They seem to travel well. I mean, Braintree's right over the east side of England, and they have to keep travelling all the time. So they've done that well. Credit to them. I don't know how they get off work. Some of them must still work. I don't know. They're not full time, are they? No. I don't think so. Anyway, but they're certainly performing like a full time team, and they'll see going into the playoffs. Or moving into the playoffs, which they would if they beat us, as a major part of their history, let alone their season.
You've got two players called Marks and Sparks. Does that indicate quality?
That's advertising. You're not allowed to do that on the BBC.
And the supermarket chains are available.
Yeah, and all the other quality chains that are around. Yeah, clever.
Danny Cormier, new manager at this level, come up from Concord Rangers, would not be a man who'd be known at this level, but he seems to have adapted and pulled together a squad that's got a real unity about it.
I suppose you have to when you're in, it's not a little village out in Essex. It's quite, I used to travel that way when I was going to Ipswich games, and I spent a bit of time in Colchester and etc. when I lived in Newmarket. So Braintree were in the same division as I was in when I was the Newmarket Town player manager for a little while, and so they've done fantastic. And for a small club that started with small beginnings, they've done magnificent to get where they are, and they will see themselves now as very, very close to a Football League club, and I'm sure they'll be putting every energy they can while they're up there to do that.
So your message to the supporters who come on Tuesday night would be, hey, look at the table, they're decent.
No, they are decent, and listen, the proper supporters, the football supporters, they understand, they know, they want their side to win, but you're just not going to win every game, every week. And if we get a good result against Braintree, it's because we've not rested on our laurels. We've not sort of sat back and said, well, these are just a part-time team sort of thing, because we know those teams, when they get the towels up, can be dangerous. dangerous being the operative word. They've got 3 or 4 dangerous players. Now I'm not sort of setting us up for a defeat. All I'm saying is I want to keep the lads' feet on the ground, because you only get results like we've had over the weeks by them believing in themselves, but by them putting in the work rate and respecting the opposition, and that's what we'll do.